Diaguish agus fáilte go radio telefís éireann Northern Ireland News.
Hello and welcome to BBC Northern Ireland 32 News.
We are delighted to be taking part in this new venture with our very good friends up in Belfast.
We are also very pleased to be taking part in this experiment with our good friends down in Dublin.
We are bringing you a nightly shared news broadcast so that the people on the island of Ireland will have a non-partisan news outlet they can trust.
Thanks to Brexit, we have this new exciting development in world news broadcasting.
Everyone in RTÉ would like to thank the European Union for including this groundbreaking initiative in the final Brexit bill. We hope this experiment in broadcasting news can become a template for divided societies across Europe and around the world.
Northern Ireland has led the world in conflict resolution, and again we find ourselves in the vanguard of peace and reconciliation. What have you got for us tonight, Margaret?
Tonight, Seaínín, we are going to look at how the arts have fared over the past year and what the future holds for those working in the industry.
As music venues and theatres remain closed, how are artists sustaining themselves? And what are their hopes and fears for the future?
First, though, we have a report from the Abbey Theatre in Dublin and the Mac in Belfast to see how running an arts building during a pandemic has affected their programming and what support they have provided for their staff and freelance artists.
3 minutes. That report is quite depressing.
Oh, the arts are always at the bottom of the pile. You've got a feel for the whole sector.
It's not as if they were starting from a strong financial position. Did you go to the theatre often?
As often as I could. My father was a great lover of the theatre. My mum, not so much, and he would bring me along instead when I was old enough. Well, he loved the Abbey. He always thought the Abbey was symbolic of the state of the country. If there's something rotten in the state of the Abbey, there's something rotten in the state of Ireland.
Wise man.
I was reporting on the Abbey season launch for the 2016 centenary programme, an eagerly awaited launch with President Higgins in attendance, and slowly there were rumblings around the room. Out of the 10 plays programmed, just one was written by a woman. One woman. I think it was so shocking because it was such a significant programme for the National Theatre.
Incredible.
But out of that debacle came the Waking the Feminist movement. That changed things, not in the theatre just, but across the arts in general. The arts likes to think of itself as progressive and inclusive, but being seen to be as misogynistic as regular society, well, that shamed it. The women behind Waking the Feminists deserve great credit. That movement achieved real change.
I did youth theatre. I loved it.
Did you ever want to be an actress?
I did dream about it, but it was never a realistic goal for me.
Why not you?
I wasn't made for it, the insecurity, the rejection. But I can say I wouldn't be doing this job if I hadn't done drama.
I did a bit of acting at Trinity. It was terrifying. That cured me of any notions of going on stage.
It must be nice getting a round of applause at the end of your work.
I bet they miss it.
I might try to do some amateur drama when this is all over. I don't know why I didn't do it before.
Another one for the the lockdown bucket list. I think my teeth are out today.
Did you do any of the lockdown crazes?
Not really. I mean, I did yoga every morning with Adrian Mishler on YouTube.
So do I. I'm doing the 30-day yoga journey.
Oh, I do the monthly calendar.
I would never have done it if it wasn't for lockdown. I was always too hectic in the mornings before.
Sea swimming has exploded in popularity down here.
Yeah, same up here. I don't fancy it at all, though.
Not a chance.
I did bake some sourdough.
So did I, but I soon got bored of it.
I've definitely found this time a lot harder.
The novelty has certainly worn off. And we are back in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Very difficult times for our theatres up and down the country.
Let's hope we'll all be able to get back soon.
With theatres closed, what about the freelance artists who form about 80% of every production? How have they fared over the past year? And what does the future hold for them?
We spoke to representatives from Irish Equity and Equity in the North to hear how their members are coping. 2 minutes.
Interest in how unemployed actors who would usually work in the hospitality sector to support themselves between jobs can't even do that because that's closed to them now.
Yeah. I mean, delivery driving is the new bar work.
Soon the only actors left will be those with a private income.
A lot of rich, privileged people playing poor people in hard-hitting dramas written by rich, privileged people.
Depressing, but realistic thought.
Did you watch any of the theatre that was put online?
I've watched some, but it doesn't do it for me, to be honest. I miss being in a real audience.
The drink at the interval.
Why is the drink at the interval so good when a lot of the time the drink itself is so bad?
And no ice in my gin destroys me.
Lukewarm lager?
I think it's the excitement of the limited time. You know, I love the snatches of the conversation that you get in the interval.
And the promises to meet after the show?
Oh, that never happens.
To the great relief of all concerned.
And the whispers of recognition when the actors come into the bar after the show.
The actual in-the-moment nowness of the show itself.
No rewinding or pausing to get something from the kitchen. And that beauty of feeling that we're all in this together just for the one night.
I spent my day staring at a screen and I really miss an unmediated contact with the outside world.
I miss the sense of community.
I miss the sense of occasion that you just don't get online.
And it's also a bit unfair to expect creatives to suddenly put all their content online without resources or training or even payment, and then expect them to compete with Netflix overnight.
Does it make theatre more accessible though?
Up to a point. I mean, I think you fall in love with theatre by actually going to the theatre. Other countries take the arts far more seriously than us. I mean, in Sweden, they view the arts as a vital part of the democracy. Their theatre tickets are the same price as cinema tickets, and their funding for their theatres, it's accordingly done.
Yeah, you know, in France, there's an unemployment system for people working in the theatre, cinema and TV. Intermittent du spectacle. Actors get a government-funded salary when they're out of work, as do technicians and everyone else in the industry. It helps them to retain a more permanent sense of professional identity.
Vive la France.
And we're back in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Our thoughts go out with all you freelancers watching tonight.
Hopefully there are better days ahead.
Live music has obviously been a casualty of lockdown.
In our next report, we hear from representatives of the Musicians' Union.
3 minutes.
These arts reports are really depressing tonight.
I know, we didn't even bring Brexit into the equation.
What a time to be alive, eh?
There is something sorrowful about not hearing live music or having it in your life.
Remember when the pandemic first hit Italy and people were singing arias from their balconies in solidarity with each other?
It was beautiful.
I have this great park nearby where I go for my daily walk. And one Sunday, I came across a ukulele orchestra playing away. It was magical. Kind of threw me a bit. I found myself getting really emotional about a ukulele orchestra. I mean, normally I wouldn't class myself as a fan of the ukulele, but there was something about the simple joy the players were all taking. And that spread out to everyone listening. It felt as though I had stumbled across something wondrous.
It sounds like you did. I'm in a concert club with a group of women I went to Trinity with, and every year we take it in turns to pick a gig to go to, and we plan a weekend around it.
That's a great idea.
Oh, we've been all over Europe, but even if the gig is in Dublin, we stay in a hotel and we make it special. And it's a great way of keeping in touch with each other.
And what was the best concert?
Well, it's not just the concert itself, but it's everything else around the concert. But if I have to pick one, I'd say for various reasons that Take That in Amsterdam was the one that will stay with me for a long time.
Do tell.
No tales from the tour.
Amsterdam is a great city.
It's beautiful. What about you? Did you go to many gigs?
Well, my favourite place in Belfast is the Duncairn Arts Centre in the north of the city. It's an old converted church and the gigs there are wonderful. The acoustics are great and it feels really intimate, you know. I've seen John Spillane, Lisa O'Neill, Ger Wolfe and Lincoln play there, not all at the same time.
Lisa O'Neill is something else.
Oh, isn't she? See, like just seeing and hearing her live, it's otherworldly.
Oh, hang on. Message coming through from the powers that be. Oh, have you no happy stories, lads?
I got one too. People need cheering up during a pandemic.
Short and sweet.
Do you think they consult each other before posting?
I imagine they're in a stale, male and pale WhatsApp group.
They'll have moved to Signal for better security.
Can you imagine having access to what they really say in their group?
I don't think I want to know.
I definitely do. Oh, and we are back in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Our hearts go out to all you musicians out there.
We certainly miss you. The world is a duller place without you.
Our final story tonight on our Arts Special is looking at how the TV and film industries are managing to provide us with new content during the pandemic.
With the new series of Line of Duty hitting our screens, we talked to the production crew in Belfast about the difficulties and innovations that have been caused by filming under COVID restrictions. 2 minutes.
I love Line of Duty.
I didn't come up the lagan in a bubble. Adrian Dunbar is great crack, isn't he?
He's a great theatre actor too. I saw him in Tom Murphy's Conversations on a Homecoming at the Lyric a few years ago. He was brilliant in it.
I saw that at the Gaiety as part of the Dublin Theatre Festival. It was a brilliant production.
Out of all the arts people we've interviewed so far, the TV people are easily the most optimistic about the future.
It's all right for them. They're back working.
Suppose.
It's the smaller arts organisations and individuals that I feel most sorry for. I mean, when we talk about theatre, we being shut down, I mean, we mainly think only of the buildings.
Yeah, we have a lot of independent theatre companies in the north and they have been bled dry by cut after cut. And that was even before the pandemic.
I bet the governments will try to give them pay rises in applause like they did the nurses.
Nothing would surprise me anymore.
We can't get too world weary. We have to present happy stories. Remember, the powers that be.
Well, I'm looking forward to the book club tomorrow. That's a positive story.
Well, we need to make a final decision on the book tonight.
Oh, I'm still wavering. It's ridiculous.
I've still got about 10 on my short list.
Do you have any of the viewers' recommendations on your short list?
The Bible.
There was a sad inevitability about that happening.
Let's do a Zoom call later over a glass of something and make a decision.
Yeah, cut your shortlist down to 6, say, or we'll be there all night.
Okay, you do the same.
I have a feeling a glass of something won't be enough.
It's never enough. Oh, and we are back in 5, 4, 3, 2. How great to hear a bit of good news from the arts community.
That has really whetted my appetite for the new series.
Before we go, we'd like to thank you all for those of you who sent your recommendations to our One Island, One Book Club.
And there is still time if you want to send us the title of your favourite novel.
We will announce the winning selection on tomorrow night's show.
The excitement is building.
Thank you all for watching tonight.
To all the workers in the arts industry, we send you our love and our thanks.
And we hope you can all join us tomorrow at 9:30 for the big reveal.
So it's good night from Belfast.
Agus ihuwa from Dublin. Ihuwa.